HEIFERS of Red Heifer and the Golden Calf. Red Heifer, the holy cow, called Para-Adama. A heifer, which is a cow less than 3 years old, free from defect, blemishes, not yoked, born unburdened, and should not have borne a calf. Also, its whole body should be of the color of the soil. That is, in Hebrew, it is called Adama, by a reddish, bovine, red Angus breed cow. Nearly after 2000 years, red heifers have been found in Texas, which qualifies as per the requirements of the Torah, in which the red heifer selection has been mentioned in Numbers book chapter 19. Archaeologist John Wyatt has found the location of the Mount Sinai where that red heifer sacrifice was offered by Moses and Aaron when Eleazar presided the burning of the red heifer, golden calf and HATHOR. Aaron, under the compulsion of the Israelites, Aaron made golden calf as Moses delayed in coming from the Mount Sinai after visiting the God at Mount Sinai. This goddess calf was the Egyptian goddess called HATHOR, associated to the life and the reproduction, that was thought to be capable of binding evil spirits by the crimson ribbon which HATHOR wore in its head. This HATHOR, according to Egyptian mythology, was a beautiful woman goddess with bovine ears and horns, or as a red cow, red referred to as Nub the goddess, or a heifer with golden neck. The Israelites at Mount Sinai became immortal as they were talking with God and Moses. But when Moses did not return after meeting God at the Mount Sinai for 40 days, the Israelites forced Aaron in making a golden calf as their new deity and to start to worshiping them. Because of this, their immortality became defiled in worshipping the idolatry golden calf. In order to cleanse this, the Israelites need to cleanse their defiled immortality by an atonement. The atonement was the mother to cleanse the filth of the child. That is, the child, the golden calf, was the defilement made, and the cleansing of the filth by the mother is the sacrificial atonement of the clean red cow called the red heifer. The earlier sacrifices of red heifer was from the Mount of Olives, facing the Temple Mount. Some of the materials used for red heifer sacrifice are cedar wood, hyssop, wool dyed scarlet, oregano, and fire, along with some special ingredients which are secret. This purification got stopped when the second temple was destroyed in 70 AD. So the Israelites have become impure for the rituals in sanctification of the temple construction. So for the third temple to be constructed before it is to be started, The Israelites needs to be cleansed. Not only the persons, the construction materials, all needs to be purified. So to meet the needs for the third temple construction before it is constructed, the temple materials and the persons in the construction need to be purified. This red heifer sacrifice is a necessity for the purification, because the red heifer ashes with the living water will be mixed together and they will be used in the cleansing of all the materials that are needed for the temple construction, which will be on the same place as the first and the second temple stood earlier, as it is the footstool and the dwelling place for the God of Israelites. The Israelites need to prepare for cleansing of all the Israelites when they are to enter the promised land, and to make it holy, for the living God will be dwelling with them in the midst. The holiness required to be kept in the camp of the Israelites, as Torah was offered, and the divine Lord of Lords, God of Gods, the living God was to dwell in the midst of the Israelites. To meet the holiness required, there needed to cleanse and purify all that belongs to the Israelites, for which cleansing medium was to be prepared, which was instructed to Moses and to Aaron and the Israelites for the cleansing. Once cleansed, they will start to follow the rules and the regulations instructed by God through Moses. The Torah was given, and the Israelites has to follow this through their entire lifetime as a perpetual covenant for them, as they came out of Egypt from the slavery, and the Israelites are to follow the rules and the regulations which are instructed to them through Moses. Ceremony of the Red Heifer. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "This is the statute of the law that the Lord has commanded. Tell the Israelites to bring you a red heifer without defect, in which there is no blemish, and on which no yoke has been laid. You shall give it to the priest Eleazar, and it shall be taken outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence. The priest Eleazar shall take some of its blood with his finger and sprinkle it 7 times towards the front of the tent of meeting. Then the heifer shall be burned in his sight, its skin, its flesh, and its blood with its dung shall be burned. The priest shall take cedar wood, hyssop, and crimson material, and throw them into the fire in which the heifer is burning. Then the priest shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water, and afterwards he may come into the camp. But the priest shall remain unclean until evening. The one who burns the heifer shall wash his clothes in water and bathe his body in water. He shall remain unclean until evening. Then someone who is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer and deposit them outside the camp in a clean place, and they shall be kept for the congregation of the Israelites for the water for cleansing. It is a purification offering. The one who gathers the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. This shall be a perpetual statute for the Israelites and for the alien residing among them. Those who touch the dead body of any animal being shall be unclean 7 days. They shall purify themselves with the water on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, and so be clean. But if they do not purify themselves on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, they will not become clean. All who touch a corpse, the body of a human being who has died, and do not purify themselves, defile the tabernacle of the Lord, such persons shall be cut off from Israel. Since water for cleansing was not dashed on them, they remain unclean. Their uncleanness is still on them. This is the law when someone dies in a tent. Everyone who comes into the tent and everyone who is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days. And every open vessel with no cover fastened on it is unclean. Whoever is in the open field touches one who has been killed by a sword or who has died naturally, or a human bone, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days. For the unclean they shall take some ashes of the burnt purification offering, and running water shall be added in a vessel. Then a clean person shall take hyssop, dip it in the water, and sprinkle it on the tent, on all the furnishings, on the persons who were there, and on whoever touched the bone, the slain, the corpse, or the grave. The clean person shall sprinkle the unclean ones on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, thus purifying them on the 7th day. Then they shall wash their clothes and bathe themselves in water, and at evening they shall be clean. Any who are unclean, but do not purify themselves, those persons shall be cut off from the assembly, for they have defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. Since the water for cleansing has not been dashed on them, they are unclean. It shall be a perpetual statute for them. The one who sprinkles the water for cleansing shall wash his clothes, and whoever touches the water for cleansing shall be unclean until evening. Whatever the clean person touches shall be unclean, and anyone who touches it shall be unclean until evening. Earlier, 9 sacred heifer sacrifices has been done. The earlier 9 sacrifices of red heifer was Moses 1, Ezra 1, Simon the righteous 2, Yohanan the priest 2, Elijah 1, Hanamal the Egyptian 1, Ishmael the son of Theabi 1. So total 9 red heifer sacrifices have been done. Five red heifers were bred by a Christian rancher in the United States and were transported to Israel from Texas. They arrived on September 15, 2022 and were inspected by rabbis. Remarkably, they were found to be red and unblemished, meeting the requirements stipulated under the law of Moses for the ritual purity and sacrifice. As Temple Institute continues preparations to lay the ground for the construction of the 3rd temple in Jerusalem. Sacrifice of red heifer, the holy cows. 5 have been chosen as the candidates, which are named Tikva, meaning hope, Beulah means redemption, Tekiah means life-giving, Nechama means comfort, Sibula means virtue. So these are the cows which have become holy, and they will become, once sacrificed, will become the holiest of the holy, because they will be the purifying agent in cleansing for the 3rd temple. The likely candidates of Kohan along with the red heifer are here for your view. A Kohan fit to perform the red heifer ceremony. The young Kohan in the photo visiting the red heifer candidates in Shiloh is fit to perform the red heifer ceremony. He came into the world via home birth, has never set foot in a hospital or cemetery, and therefore considered a halakha to be the highest level of Torah purity. Having never contracted tumor, met impurity, imparted the contract with a corpse. Should he opt to participate in the temple institute's ongoing preparation in anticipation of the removal of the ashes of the red heifer, he will undergo intense instruction and training. The temple institute's readiness as they start to train the choir for the red heifer sacrifice and for the third temple inauguration ceremonies.